wanted to ask you guys, what do you think of the way they let the players come out?
Don't like it.
One by one.
Hate it.
I like it, man.
No.
I like it, man.
No,
You
it's
guys,
rubbish.
it's so boring,
So
man. You don't like no
American.
innovations, do you?
It's so American, though.
What's wrong with it?
You try to do that at Millwall.
It's long.
Yeah, well, that's the part of the problem with Millwall, isn't it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Forget
You know
Millwall.
what I mean?
You go to
Can't do anything at Millwall.
You go to Forest Green and try and do that. You
I
go to
like
Yeovil.
it.
Why do you
You're gonna
like
get
it?
laughed at?
Because it's
embarrassing.
something new. You know what? When Premier League first started, right? I remember when we interviewed David Dean. He was one of the guys behind the Premier League, and he was saying some of the little innovations they came with, which a lot of them were sort of copied from American sports. People were all against, and now so one of them was. Remember, I think back in the day, teams would just come out and just run to one side, run to one
as it
side.
should
Yeah.
be.
But what they started doing is teams would come out, and I think at that time they had cheerleaders, which they kind of got rid of in the end. But they come out and they line up and they shake out. You know what I mean? And that became an innovation. I like this one, man. Each player comes out and each one's introduced, especially for me, right? Some of those other teams, like what were playing yesterday, I don't really know who they are. So it's a good way
Alright,
for
well,
me
name,
to
name
know.
them all.
Huh?
Name them all now, then, if you.
Oh,
enjoyed that.
I ain't going to
Yeah,
know.
I
But at
see.
least they
Still
named
doesn't
those
know them.
four. I like it.
I
What's
hear
wrong
that
with it?
for the teams that aren't, known, but this is
Gives
what
a
they do in
little
ba-
bit
this
of
is what they do in
character to the
basketball.
thing.
It's
I
long.
like it.
It's
6'8".
it's too long.
This is what they do.
It's
too
drawn
long,
out.
man.
It delays the kickoff. It's
And
just
they're all hot
long.
and bothered. The
Like,
pitches aren't
Hot
great.
and bothered.
Like,
I mean,
do you know what it is for
Just
me?
get on
yeah?
with
You
it.
lot are miserable,
Blow
man.
the whistle
No,
and play.
When you're
pretty soccer.
when you're leading your team out as captain,
That's good enough.
and all your boys are
Yeah,
behind
that's what you want.
and you're doing the face off in the tunnel. You're looking this way, he's looking that way. Roy Keane, Patrick. That's what I like.
You can still
and
have
you
that.
walk out. No, you can't, because when you're walking out individually,
One by one.
I could go tie my shoelaces if I'm lost.
You can walk
walking
up
out.
in the
I ain't got
tunnel,
time
you
to
can
standing
still be there, and then each man just comes
Nah, it's
out.
long,
Yeah, I mean,
nah,
it adds give a little bit of flavour to it, man.
No,
They don't
there's
let
enough
man-
flavour. We've got
Oh,
a
you lot
ball
are boring,
and 11
man.
lads on each side. That's enough flavour.
So you lot
And all
boring.
this
That's the
they're
problem with
making
that's
it
the
so
problem with
American, though.
that's the problem with football, right? Is that we don't take on board innovation sometimes.
We do.
But sometimes
Right.
don't
Just
fix
not
it
everything.
if it's not broken.
Not everything.
You know?
I don't mind it, man.
Do you like the?
You're the only person I know that likes it.
I like it.
Do you like
it.
the superior player of the match?
No, I'm not saying.
No.
Why? It's new. Why don't you like it? It's
Innovative.
No,
new.
it's not
Something-
everything. Listen, no, I'm not saying everything, but I like that. I'd like to see him bring out a Premier League.
What? Superior player of the match?
No, each player coming out individually. I like it.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. Charlie.
Honestly, I like it, man.
Honestly, if you in the comments, actually, let's put a poll up. Let's settle this once and for all.
Yeah, maybe
Let's
a
get
lot of people.
poll up,
It'd be boring old
and we'll
farts.
see
You know
what
what I mean?
the very intelligent audience of DR Sports thinks to this, right? Because for me, I'm not having it. He's not having it.
Nah.
Let me tell you something in football, right? I find football to be so snobbish at times, right? That we don't want to make any changes. I remember, listen, don't get me wrong, VAR is run badly, but there's nothing wrong with VAR, you know, because
yeah.
with the amount of technology we've got now, we needed VAR. But football's one of the last sports. You think of something like rugby, which is looked upon as quite a snobbish sport by many people, you know what I mean, like public school sport and that, and cricket. Both of them have had VAR long before football.
Do you not think there's
Tennis. I was at Queen's on the weekend, Queen's Club, watching Alcaraz, an unbelievable player, by the way.
Yeah.
The
Hospitality, a few
the-
drinks.
Don't worry about that.
Of course it was. Bit
The
of sangria,
technology-
Pims. Come on, man. Don't fool
The
me.
technology they use with the line technology, they've been using it for years, long
but what's
before
that got to
football.
do with
but do you not? do you-
Because that
gives
was
you a
us.
chance to boo them
no,
as well,
because
by the
again,
way.
that was football. We didn't want to bring it in.
Okay, I hear
Why
you.
change it? This, that. You know what I mean?
you-
Why
do you
we
not-
do
get
it
a
all the
poll up
time?
do
right
you not
now.
think there's something in balance in
course.
terms of we should try to protect some parts of the game, because at the
Yes,
end of the day,
I do.
This is the biggest sport in the world for a reason. The more people relate to and watch this sport for a reason. So we could copy other sports and change and tweak this all of the time. But at the end of the day, are we not the biggest sport in
No,
the world?
I hear that.
So why are they
I
not
hear
copying
that.
us?
But then also, don't you think as well that it works both ways? If you want to, so that American market is a huge market, right? And they're trying to get more of a market share into that market. So don't you think like some of them little innovations that might be a bit American, will be relatable to the Americans and be able to bring more of them on
I don't
board
care.
into the
No.
sport.
If I'm honest, I don't
No.
care.
This is a different sport, and when they're trying to follow it, they should also recognize that and accept that there are going to be things that are different to American
Yeah, of
sports.
course.
We're
And
not
it still
trying to
is.
make a sport that is global American because of their
Yes,
audience.
exactly.
I'm not
That's
saying
what
we
we're
should.
So you
I'm
think
not.
we
We're
should
not doing
replace
that.
penalties where they run from the halfway
No,
line
I'm not
and
saying
do
any
that?
Why
of-
not? It's new.
I don't like
Yes.
none of those. Listen, see, you guys stop trying to stop trying to
fact,
twist
when
it
we
up.
do
I'm
DR
not saying
sports-
everything new. I'm not saying everything new. But I'm a guy, I'm not against innovations. I remember when I first started doing my channels, right? Everybody's, oh, you can't do that because that's not how it's done. You can't do it. No, you got to be a bit of, think sometimes, well, yeah, that ain't been done. Let's give it a go. You know what I mean? Let's try things
All right,
sometimes.
let's flip the table.
Not everything.
Flip the
Not
table.
everything. No, listen.
How
Don't
about-
get me wrong. Not everything. I like the traditions of football. I want to keep it. I like when I go to even the FA Cup final when they got that band playing and stuff like that. But, and let me ask you this, guys. Would you be against
You're gonna say
a
halftime. show. I
halftime
knew it. I
show?
knew it. I knew he was gonna say a halftime show.
Listen, right?
I knew it.
For the
So if
FA
it was
Cup,
like nines, then
No.
yeah. But if
The
it's
FA
like
Cup
Fergie from
final.
Black Eyed Peas, then probably
the
not.
FA Cup final. Wouldn't you, when you see the Super Bowl thing, right?
Oh, yeah, but
Wouldn't you be
would
That's
up
unique.
for
Do you know
like?
what?
Yeah.
That's unique to them.
I
If
know.
everybody does it, it's not. It's not.
let
It's
them
not
lot
indiv-
do
it's not
that, the
in-
halftime
individual to them
shows.
anymore.
You really think we're gonna get like Liam and Noel?
What do we
Gallagher
do at
to come
halftime
out?
now?
We go get a pint.
Go and get a pint and a pie and
We
have
go
a
get
chat.
a pint and a pie.
And even
Mac.
when you go to
go
get a
for a
pint, even when you go to get a pint, the queue's so long, the thing you don't even end
I'd
up getting
rather
a pint
stand
and just
in the
walk back
queue.
to your seat.
I'd rather stand in the queue waiting for a pint, knowing what I'm gonna get at the end of the queue, than watch.
What you're gonna do is
know,
you're gonna
Sabrina
stand in
Carpenter.
that.
Than
You're
than
gonna
watch the
stand in that queue.
Saturdays. Do a
I'll
show.
tell you what's going to happen, right? You're going to stand
what
in
are
that
you
queue to
talking
get
about?
that pint, right? You're not going to get the pint. You're going to get back to your seat late, and you're going to miss about
Not-
2,
not in the
3
box,
minutes.
mate.
You're going to well, you're in a box every game, are you?
No, I'm
Are
joking,
you going to
I'm
miss
joking.
2-3 minutes of the second half?
Next thing you know, we'll
I'd
be
rather
having
do that than watch.
kiss
like I said-
cams soon.
Yeah,
During
what,
the game.
Tie on kiss cam at the Emirates. Also, if you're on that, how about every time we do the show on DR, we have an announcer announce us onto the show.
Yeah.
If that's what you
Oh,
want,
come
we'll
on!
do
See,
that.
you lot are just trying to get carried away. I'm not saying
Honestly,
everything.
Rob,
I'm
you've
not
lost your
saying.
head, mate.
I'm not saying every change. I'm not saying everything. Not everything's going to fit football. Maybe this don't fit it, but I'm not against them trying it.
What, JLS at half time and that?
But I would like for the
know what?
big, for me, for the Champions League final, and maybe it's not at half time, maybe it's before the game, but something that makes it so
Do you know what
special.
would
Do you know
Banger.
what? Do you know what it is? This is happening anyway. He's ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
and he's gonna
He's
be on the
been told.
clips on the
He's
clips
been
channel,
told, yeah.
and it's gonna be Robbie was right.
Yeah, man.
No, all right, but all right, say you didn't do it at half time. What if you did it before the game?
Still not. I'd rather watch the warm ups. Unless it's the
Boring,
Unity
man.
Cup and
Bloody
Crucial
boring.
Robbie comes out at half time. To
You
sing one
lot-
of your
you
One
lot-
sniff.
classics. Yeah, maybe not
See,
that.
like, if it's full of you lot,
Proud
it'd
to
be the
black,
same old.
really. That's more.
It'd be the
More
same
your
old,
tune,
same
that.
old with you. Like, you boring old. You know what I mean? You innit?
Yeah, but if it's not broken, don't try and fix it. Don't mess with
But
the
you can make
traditions,
things
man.
better sometimes. You can make
All
improvements.
right, imagine you're 4-0 down at Anfield and you got to watch JLS perform at half time.
When the Premier League first came in, go and
Your
read.
head would be hot.
I'll be.
Go
You go and
read.
hide in the toilet.
Go and read about the Premier League. Read what David Dean said. When the Premier League first came in, he was coming with all these innovations.
is
They
mad.
all got shouted down. They all got cried down. And everybody, now it's made our football
Well,
the best in the world.
We've asked the
Premier
people.
League.
We've asked the people, right? Yeah, I'd look away if I was
I
you
know they're
on
gonna
these
go
poll
with me.
results. Should players walk out one by one? We've got 77% of you, the lion's share, that say absolutely not, Robert, and
And you're all
23% say yes. It's not about being boring. It's not.
It's about, listen, all right, listen.
Name the
maybe,
champions, the Lincoln
maybe,
Park one.
Maybe he can have the show before the game. Create a day of it. Families and
If that's
friends.
what
They
you're
come
on.
early. We'll stay in the pubs, whatever. Everybody come together for the game. Kick off. No more nonsense. How about
You know,
that?
it's funny because I was at that festival over in Cannes, and there was a lot of Americans there, right? And we were actually talking about, obviously, the World Cup's going to be in America next year. We're actually talking about things like that. So, for instance, in America next year, one of the big things a lot of fans will find there will be the tailgate parties, right? You've been to America,
Yeah,
haven't you, right? They're
They're-
brilliant.
they
innit?
are
When
brilliant.
before
I
the
do
game.
enjoy
I
those.
don't mind
yeah.
them.
Yeah,
But
that's it.
don't
but
mind
then
that. Food though, innit?
Yeah.
a guy was asking me, he goes, why don't they have them in the UK? And I said, it wouldn't work in the UK because I said, we've got a tradition of going to the pub before the game.
But we don't have a
And-
car park.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't, well, we
Or-
got
or
a car
it's 20
park.
quid to...
That's
No,
Old
but
Trafford.
you could do a tailgate party at Wembley because they do it for the American football games. But I'm
Or
just
a box
like,
park.
our tradition in
No,
this country.
I think we'd warm up to that.
No, but I said our tradition in this country is we go to the pub before the game, and
after.
and I wouldn't want to change that, right? So because that's a traditional thing that we do.
So why are you trying
here.
to change this then now?
But that's something different. That's nothing.
I like the tailgate idea.
Alright.
What do we do at half time? What do we do before the game? You know what I
Drink
mean, at the moment?
alcohol.
Yeah, that's part of our problems.
A lot, yeah, it is. Actually. It is. All right, if you're so clued up on about it, then give me your ideal halftime FA Cup final entertainment.
All right, listen, maybe not half time,
No, you've said halftime,
But-
so we must stick on halftime.
but even maybe you do it before the game.
I'm-
right?
No, they
I'm-
already
big
do
show.
that. No, halftime.
For
Who
the-
do you want? You've got unlimited budget. Who are you getting?
Boy, yeah.
Vibes Cartel.
Hey, a halftime show. Arsenal
Massacre.
in the final. Vibes Cartel on stage at half
The Liverpool fan,
bro.
yeah,
Do you-
no, get
do you
him
not
out.
think-
get him
I'm
out.
on that.
Do you not think
Vibes
these
Cartel,
things
man.
are designed to water down what the actual product is meant to be, which is the football, and then it allows people to kind of treat the sport secondary to all of the things that you're mentioning around the sport,
No, I actually feel that sometimes those things.
and it just becomes a big money maker because that's what
Vibes
this is.
Cartel.
This all is.
Yeah, in a way, it is a money maker and all that.
That
But
would
what
be
it does,
sick.
it heightens the interest around the game. So sometimes
But there's already
it
enough
can bring,
interest.
Sometimes it can bring people into the game.
Might
that
take
weren't
people out of the
really-
game as well.
I don't think
People
it
would
does.
stand
Would
up
take
and walk
people out of
away.
American
Yellow
football?
card sponsored by Honda.
No, those I'm against. I'm against those type of ones. But I'm saying something like the halftime show, Super Bowl. For instance, a lot of fans in the UK, right, would in their initial entry into the American football sort of Super Bowl sport would have been that halftime show.
It's once
I
a year,
remember
though.
back in the day when Michael Jackson was on it and that, like, I was like, oh wow, Michael Jackson's going to be at halftime. I didn't really know nothing about American football, and then I'll stay and watch the game, and then I might enjoy it and think, oh, actually, I
isn't
don't
that-
mind this, and that gets me into the sport.
But,
You
but
know what I
that's
mean?
more entertainment. You're focusing on the entertainment more than the sport. I've been to
Initially,
I've been
but
to
then
New
after
York.
that might be the thing that got me into it. Now
Yeah.
I become interested in the sport, and long term I become a fan.
But
These are things
I've
we
been
need
to
think
Bars.
about.
I've been to the Knicks versus the Chicago Bulls at Madison Square Gardens. They announced them all in. They say their height. They're going defense, offense. Like, and for me personally, I can only speak for myself, my own experiences. I didn't enjoy it at all.
I love the American football.
Can you
I
imagine?
love the
and on the
basketball.
screens
I've been-
it's saying
I've
"say
been-
defense."
Listen,
Imagine
listen,
doing
I've
that
been, I've been
at
to
Chelsea.
I've been to
West
Madison
Ham.
Square. Listen, I've been. Yeah, but those things.
They'd start throwing bottles
No,
at the
but that's
screen.
a difference for them. That's their sport, right? So I'm not expecting that to be at football. We wouldn't want that at football. Actually, when you're there, when I've been to Madison Square as well, I've been to watch the Knicks play a few times. I've enjoyed it. I've even got into the defense.
I think that's because
what they do.
it's not like normalized. For
I
you,
wouldn't
so
want that at Arsenal.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
exactly.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. You
Yeah, I wouldn't want that at
Arsenal.
Arsenal defense. We've got our own songs,
There's
but
people sitting down with
I like
Arsenal.
that. I like that innovation.
Imagine Arsenal on the screen. Arsenal, just on the screen.
Sing-
Well, you
After-
imagine on the screen, you look Chelsea.
We ain't got a
Chelsea.
screen.
And that's even if anybody turned up.
They don't even
Because
have a
I saw
screen.
your game the other day
Oh,
out there.
it's like-
right?
it's
That's one of
like-
the emptiest games in the whole thing.
it's
So before
like-
you start coming,
All
yeah,
right.
I
Yeah,
thought
of course.
you lot had a big
So
support
basically,
worldwide.
it was-
Where was it?
It was 3:00 on a Monday, right?
Yeah.
And people were still at work, families doing the school run, traffic on the roads, all sorts of things.
you
were
live there,
taking
do you?
place. Yeah, I spoke to the locals. I've got connects, and at the end of the day, it's FIFA's fault for not prioritizing
That's
the
the
Americans.
only game that
It's
empty
funny.
like that.
We're not even prioritizing the American audience in America.
Yeah.
We're still prioritizing
That's
the
true, that's a
European
good
Liverpool
point.
that
and,
played
and,
there,
and,
Arsenal
the
would have been
UK
as empty
audience.
as that.
Would have been
Because the
ram
time
out,
slots,
sell
Robbie,
off.
Robbie, if you're seeing the time slots, there's one game at every time slot all day long. That's not prioritizing the
See,
Americans.
I'd rather watch stuff like
It's not
this on
making
the screen
sense.
now. Some portly bloke trying to fight someone with a big
that?
cotton bud. Look, this is proper hard. This is in Mexico, right? This is where they do stuff. I want to see this. I want to see lads fighting.
You look so boring.
Well,
man,
you know
I'll
the
tell you that,
halftime entertainment. I think it was Plymouth, where the two fans home and away had to run from halfway to get the ball, and one guy just tripped the other guy off and was giving it all this to the fans. That's all right. Or when kids take penalties at halftime, like Julian did at Bournemouth.
This is boring.
Remember, the worst penalty I've ever seen.
it
by
was
the
the
way.
worst penalty I've
I'd
ever seen.
prefer that than music, because then the pitch gets
Nah,
damaged.
man.
They're
Vibes
rolling
Cartel on the stage.
I
at
would watch that, though. I'm not gonna lie.
halftime,
I would
right,
watch that.
halftime show. Or your favourite artists. Who's your favourite artist?
Wouldn't mind a
One,
bit of
give me
Rihanna.
one.
Mine's Nines.
Wouldn't mind a bit of Rihanna, you know.
Rihanna on stage at Stamford Bridge halftime. Massive game.
Depends if we're losing.
2-0
If we're
down
losing,
to Burnley.
Before the game.
if we're losing, send Rihanna home. Dead us.
I'd have like either Jay-Z or Nas
So
or
you do it before the game.
Biggie.
Maybe before the game. Like, I think like FA Cup final before it. up on
What about
stage,
full
react-
time when everyone's leaving?
Nah, there'd be nobody there to watch it because we be
Before
like
the
that.
game, if it had to happen,
Before the game,
I'd
not
rather
half-time.
because half time
not long
you're
enough.
angry at the team. You're either 2
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
You know, there's all. Anyway, I think we've spoken about this enough to be honest. 16 minutes. So let us know what you think in the chat.